Donald Trump was just asked about twerking.
Speak, and then she had a rapper twerk at a rally. Yeah. A rapper was twerking at a rally.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on that. It's crazy to me to think that there could be twerking at a rally.
Well, what Hillary did is she would go out and get Bruce Springsteen. He'd get much smaller crowds than I got, to be honest. And he had a guitar, right? I don't have a guitar. But he would fill up a place, and then he'd finish, and they'd all leave, and she'd be speaking. So now Kamala's doing the same thing, because nobody wants to go whizzing over my head. I had the one here, and I went down, and they were whizzing over, and I had 7 people, maybe, a lot of people, a lot of very big people on top of me within seconds. Right. And a lot of people that I know would not have done.
Then they all start clapping. This is Donald Trump on the live stream of Adin Ross, a 22-year-old kid who is worth millions and millions of dollars, who live streams all day, and he doesn't know anything about politics. He doesn't even know how to pronounce the word fascism, and he proved that on stream last year. But he is now talking to Donald Trump, and it's really giving me the vibe of when you're sitting there and your older grandpa is just spewing out random stuff, connecting dots that shouldn't be connected, playing a game of word association, and Adin Ross is sitting there shaking his head, but he doesn't know what to say. Let's break this down. Leave a like.
Problem. But he, supposedly, I don't think he knew. I mean, I've gone through it too. I don't think the sniper knew anything about it. He may have heard there could be a problem, but he didn't know anything about it. Think of it. A thing like that happens. He went by the gun and the fire of the gun. And I guess when the bullets come out, you see fire. And he was able to see that from probably more than 300 yards away. So that's 3 football fields. That's a lot.
And Donald Trump thinks it's cool when he talks about the assassination attempt, so now that he's with a young man, somebody that's my age, that's all he's talking about. But in this clip, Adin Ross asks Trump about Venezuela, and it is so clearly a planted question from Trump's handlers because Adin Ross doesn't know what the country Venezuela is. I'm not even joking, and Donald Trump still fumbles the answer. And then a few minutes later, he talks about twerking at Kamala Harris's rallies. I'll play that clip later, but watch this.
Right. What do you think about what's going on in Venezuela, the whole situation out there?
Well, I know it very well, and Venezuela is right now being run by a dictator. We were enemies with Venezuela. Venezuela was going to collapse, and people could have gone back to Venezuela. They're in our country now. They've released tremendous numbers of criminals into our country. If you look at Caracas, it was known for being a very dangerous city, and now it's very safe. In fact, the next interview we'll do it in Caracas, Venezuela, because it's safer than many of our cities.
Right. Do you?
Just an embarrassing showing from Donald Trump. Take a look.
So when you think of it, plus the Secret Service, whenever a bullet's fired, everybody empties out immediately. They immediately leave and they empty out the whole stadium, and they call it a stampede, like in cattle.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get killed with stampedes. You know, they get literally
stomped
walked
over.
Yeah. Many people die.
Just an intellectual conversation. Keep in mind, Donald Trump has been talking about the assassination attempt for maybe 15 minutes now. That is all he has talked about. Watch this clip of them talking about VP Harris and Joe Biden.
Going to this country, they're destroying our country, Adin. They're destroying stupid people. He's not a smart man. He wasn't smart 35 years ago. He wasn't smart 20 years ago. And now he's really not smart. No. And you saw that from the debate. I mean, he's really gone down the tubes. And she couldn't even pass her law exam. She couldn't pass her bar exam. And I'm not saying...
It is so rich hearing somebody like Donald Trump say that Joe Biden is dumb. Joe Biden has spent his entire life working in politics, passing legislation, helping the American people. Donald Trump doesn't know his left hand from his right hand. I always say this, but if you sat down Donald Trump and Joe Biden, or Donald Trump and Kamala, and you quiz the two about the history of Israel-Palestine or the history of Ukraine and Russia, VP Harris and Joe Biden would run laps around Donald Trump because they are way smarter. Even a 110-year-old Joe Biden knows more about foreign policy than a 50-year-old Donald Trump. Leave a like on the video if you agree.
And because I know other people didn't pass their bar exam, but she thought she'd never be able to pass it. And this is who we have running our country. It's a shame. She's ultra-left, ultra-radical. I just see where 99 vicious terrorists, when she was, I guess, Attorney General, because she was Attorney General of California, she destroyed California. Her policies have destroyed California.
What did he randomly say about terrorists? And how have Kamala Harris's policies unilaterally destroyed California? Is Kamala Harris now Gavin Newsom? And this pivot to try to paint VP Harris as some radical leftist coming out of California is so see-through, so transparent, and it just doesn't work. VP Harris has been pretty tough on crime. She's pretty center-left. Yes, she's progressive, but she's not some far-left radical who wants to abolish all institutions. Here's a clip of Donald Trump doubling down on his racist attacks against VP Harris at the National Association of Black Journalists and saying that the journalist was the one being nasty. Take a look.
Well, I did this as a favor, and this was the black journalists. The room had maybe 2,000. It said 2,000. It looked more like 1,000 to me, but whatever it was packed.
Yeah.
And I did it because I thought it was a good thing to do, and they had a journalist, I didn't know who she was, but she...
Notice how when the event goes poorly for him, he conveniently deflates the numbers. They said it was 2,000, but it looked like 1,000 based off my intuition. But my rallies, they look like 110,000, even though the reports are 40,000. Sorry, let's keep going.
Nasty. She was a terrible person. And I walk in, and instead of saying, hello, thank you very much for doing this, they also said, Kamala's going to do it. But then Kamala said, she wants to do it because she can't talk to people. She can't answer questions. She hasn't done one interview. You know, she's not doing any interviews.
Yeah.
Because if she did one interview where a hard question's asked, she's incapable of answering it. But I walk in and this woman starts talking about, she talked about, let's get rid of the elephant in the room. And she starts talking about racism and everything. I said, you didn't even say hello to me. And I'm doing them a favor by doing this.
It's totally fair to talk about racism when the former president, who is one of the most racist people alive, with the most power alive, walks into the room of the National Association of Black Journalists, being expected to be treated like a king. No, you have a history of racist attacks against black people. You have a history of enacting racist legislation against black Americans, even going back to when he was a landlord. He shut out black families. To continue.
Doing this out of respect to the black community. And we're getting record numbers, as you know, in the black community. And she came across, she's with ABC Fake News, which is one of the worst. ABC is one of the worst.
Right.
And she is horrible. So she was very nasty. Harris Faulkner was there. She was excellent. The other person I didn't know, she was okay. I wouldn't say she was great, but she was okay. But I did it, and it was quite a sensation. Actually, a lot of people think it was well handled. The woman was so rude.
So rude.
That... it's hard to believe.
Adin Ross has no clue what Donald Trump is talking about. Let me tell you, Adin Ross has no clue. Let me play you a clip of Adin Ross.
What does a fascist mean?
Doesn't know how to say fascist.
It means you are a far right authorization ultranationalist. Oh my God!
Ultra-nationalist authoritarian. This dude's around my age, and he's interviewing Donald Trump and just sucking up to him. That is wild. This kid knows nothing about politics.
You can walk into a thing, and I do him a favor, and I do this. Most people said, why are you doing it? I feel I have an obligation to do it. I want to look you become the president for...
You have an obligation to serve the American citizens and not be a racist prick against VP Harris. I'm sorry, but it's so frustrating to see Adin Ross and Donald Trump sitting down in front of hundreds of thousands of impressionable live viewers. The good thing is a lot of Adin Ross's viewers are from the age range of 10 years old to 16 years old, so they won't be able to vote in this election. He just panders to little kids. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button. We are building a beautiful community heading into this election, and I'm so glad that you can be here, a part of it with me, so we can laugh together, cheer together, panic together, cry together as this high stakes election approaches. Go join the subreddit and the Discord, all in the description below. But most importantly, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.